How's it going, guys? Dynamite here, coming to you as always from the Digital Warfare 24/7 forums, and today is Christmas Eve. Today is also the renewal of Tactical Tuesday, which is a series that I once again hope to be putting out. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys maybe have some people that you bought some absolutely last-minute presents for, some absolutely clutch presents, and if there is a Call of Duty Ghost player in your life who you still maybe do not have a present for on Christmas Eve, I have the solution for you. It is going to be the Call of Duty Ghosts Swiss Army Knife class setup. And what this is it's basically a highly customizable class base that you can add on a number of different attributes to make it perform very well in a bunch of different situations. This is basically the culmination of a bunch of work that I've been doing to sort of pin down exactly what I have to have when I'm building a class in Call of Duty Ghosts. So let's go through the base class here really quick, which is actually what I'm using right now. This is a gameplay of Domination on Sovereign, and I'm going to be playing with some of Wickerman's crew on the Xbox One. So kicking things off, let's talk a little bit about the primary that I have selected here. You'll notice it is a very popular choice. It is the MTAR-X. This gun is so popular for a very good reason, in that it falls right between the SMG and assault rifle classes. You can get away with really not using Stalker or Quick Draw on it and still get really good weapon handling, which is something that's really impressive. It has a larger than average magazine size compared to the assault rifles, and if you put the grip on it, it really has some really great reach. Another thing to note about the MTAR-X is that it has that minimum 25 damage, which means it is never going to kill in less than 4 bullets unless the enemy has ballistic vests. And this is something that there are a lot of assault rifles that aren't even capable of this kind of performance, so it's something that I really wanted to have on this class, and is something that I run a lot in my class loadouts. Now you'll notice that I do have the red dot on it. I see a lot of pros running it without the red dot, but the iron sights on this thing are just prohibitive for me. I can't stand them. Maybe if I could get used to them, I'd be able to run a suppressor along with this setup that I have with the grip, but I just can't. Maybe some of you guys can. I also like that it has the added reach of that 3-hit kill range without the suppressor, so I don't mind that so much. Now, moving on to the rest of this base class that I have here, you'll notice that I'm going to have Dead Silence and Amplify, and these are two perks that on absolutely any map are going to give you a huge edge. Even if half the players in your lobby are running Dead Silence, being able to sound whore the other half effortlessly with Amplify is really something that's extremely important to have, in my opinion. Moving on from there, I am going to have Marathon, which is going to allow me to transition through different parts of the map very quickly, and then sort of complementing that is going to be Ready Up, which means that I can get my gun up into position very quickly after sprinting, since I am going to be doing so much sprinting with the Marathon perk. Other perks that I'm going to use in this base setup is going to be Focus. Focus is something that's absolutely crucial, even for a SMG that specializes in somewhat more close to medium range combat. The flinch is just so high in this game. It's exactly like how toughness was in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It's something that you just have to have in order to be successful. So that is going to be my base, basically, and if you tally up all the points that I've spent so far, you'll notice that there are going to be 2 points open for you to use. Now, this is where the whole idea of this being a Swiss Army Knife class comes into play. I mean, already we have a very well-rounded weapon, a very well-rounded and capable set of perks. So now let's see what our different options are that we can do with these two remaining perks. Now, what I'm running in this particular gameplay is I'm running Sitrep, and the annoyance of the IEDs has gotten to the point where this is a class that I'm going to be running a lot of the time. This Sitrep variant of the Switchblade or Swiss Army Knife class. Now, the Sitrep perk is obviously going to be able to spot those pesky IEDs, which I really feel like should have higher visibility. They're also going to let you look out for things like IMSs placed on BDOM especially, which is pretty much what I'm doing this entire gameplay. Just have guys running into my IMS nonstop. If they had Sitrep, they'd be in better shape. One other thing that people maybe don't think about with Sitrep as much is that you can constantly be aware of when enemies have SATCOMs up, because you can look across the map and you can see exactly where the SATCOMs are, if there are any, so you know exactly what your enemy's capabilities are as far as seeing you. And this is really useful. You can also go and seek out the SATCOMs and destroy them if need be. So if you have players that are putting up a lot of SATCOMs and you don't want to shell out for something like something like off the grid. You can use this to destroy them if someone is planting a lot of IMSs and IEDs and generally trying to camp behind them and be annoying. Then this is an option that you can whip out of your Call of Duty class Swiss Army knife and put to good use. Now the second option, the second blade on the Swiss Army knife, if you will, is going to be Blind Eye, the Blind Eye variant. This is going to be crucial to have on because it's going to be able to protect you from enemy helicopters. They're not going to be able to target you, and also enemy oracles are not going to be able to reveal you. And this is something really good. If you happen to die and you hear enemy oracle online, you can throw this on. It's really annoying when a teammate, or a enemy rather, somehow manages to call in a chopper gunner against us, and most of the time I won't have any kind of class equipped. Well, not anymore with this here Swiss Army knife setup that is going to allow you to just whip out this Blind Eye class. It's already good to go. It already has a great selection of perks and weapons available to you. Now the third option, let's say you're playing domination on a map that has a really enclosed BDOM flag, say whiteout for instance, and you really need C4 or maybe even a canister bomb to try to clear that out, or maybe it's really exposed like Warhawk and you need a way to capture it under smoke. This is going to be an option that it doesn't actually add another perk. It's actually going to add a C4 and a smoke grenade. This is going to be a high priority objective class in the cases that there's a B flag that you just can't defend or can't capture. This is going to be another really good option at your fingertips that you can just whip out and go to town with at a moment's notice. Moving on, I've noticed a lot more people starting to experiment with Danger Close and noob tubes, which is unfortunate. But in this case, if there is someone that's maybe tubing a B flag, say the one on Octane that's in that enclosed shipping container, I know I've seen a lot of people just sitting up and broken with a noob tube and just firing it over and over again down on the BDOM flag. In that case, what you can do is you can pull out a version of this class that has Blast Shield on it. That would be another variant that I would highly recommend for you to equip. Now, moving on from the Blast Shield variant, there's one that, say you're in a lobby where you're just absolutely wailing on kids, and you know they're not really putting up SATCOMs, they're not really putting up IEDs. Then this is an occasion where I would run Hardline, and Hardline is when you really want to put the hammer down. You really want to start calling in those score streaks, or maybe even pair it with the Specialist class to really get yourself going up there in terms of Specialists. And actually, the next gameplay that I'm going to showcase on Tactical Tuesday is going to be a free-for-all featuring Deadeye and Specialists. So it'll be really interesting to evaluate how good that perk is, that Deadeye perk. But that'll be coming up. Let's finish off what we're talking about here, though. A sixth option that I really feel you should be able to utilize with this Swiss Army knife setup is going to be the Incog setup. But unfortunately, Incog, I believe, is a little bit overpriced at 3 points right now, so you would have to sacrifice Ready Up in order to equip it. But say you're on a map like Prison Break where thermal sights are just absolutely key, say people are sitting back in the brush with thermal, you can put Incog on and it's going to keep you off thermal, it's going to keep you off tracker sights, and it's also going to give you no name when targeted, so it's going to allow you to take even better advantage of those brushy areas. So if you've got a bunch of bush Wookiees sitting back with thermals, then this is an option that could work for you. Again, you are going to have to sacrifice 1 point worth of your base loadout in order to use it, but it is still something that is worth considering. Hopefully Infinity Ward maybe balances that down a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you all the merriest of Merry Christmases, especially with this gift that you can now give to that beloved friend of yours who also plays Call of Duty Ghosts. So have a great Christmas, you guys, and stay tuned till next week.
Fuck you gonna do?